Gasho. Hi, it's Myozan Kodo here from Zen Buddhism Ireland, and I'm continuing with our reading of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Suzuki Roshi. And I'm looking this week at pages 62 to, 62 to 65, No Trace. When you do something, you should burn yourself completely, like a good bonfire, leaving no trace of yourself. What Suzuki Roshi is talking about here is attachment. That in our activities, we normally have attachments, and we normally have goals. We normally are looking for outcomes. We're looking at things beyond the immediate action at hand. So we know that in Zen practice, we do things completely. We also give up goal-orientated thinking. So when we cut the vegetables, we do not cut the vegetables because later on we will cook a meal. We may be doing it because later on we will cook a meal, but we are totally cutting the vegetables. Not absent-mindedly, we are engaged, we are present and mindful in our actions. Suzuki Roshi says in this chapter, in order not to leave any traces, when you do something, you should do it with your whole body and mind. You should be concentrated on what you do. You should do it completely, like a good bonfire. You should not be a smoky fire. You should burn yourself completely. If you do not burn yourself completely, a trace of yourself will be left in what you do. You will have something remaining which is not completely burned out. Zen activity is activity which is completely burned out, with nothing remaining. Zen activity is bodhisattva activity. Bodhisattva activity is the activity of saving all sentient beings and realizing that there is no self and there are no all sentient beings to be saved. Suzuki Roshi reminds me of Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching in the Diamond Sutra, the diamond that cuts through illusion, the Prajnaparamita Diamond Sutra. In it, the Buddha says, let me just read section 3 of the Diamond Sutra. The Buddha said to Subhuti, this is how the Bodhisattva Mahasattvas master their thinking. However many species of living beings there are, whether born from eggs, from the womb, from moisture, or spontaneously, whether they have form or do not have form, whether they have perception or do not have perceptions, or whether it cannot be said of them that they have perceptions or that they do not have perceptions, we must lead all these beings to the ultimate nirvana so that they can be liberated. And when this innumerable, immeasurable, infinite number of beings has become liberated, we do not in truth think that a single being has been liberated. Why is this so? If Subhuti, a bodhisattva, holds on to the idea that a self, a person, a living being, or a lifespan exists, that person is not an authentic bodhisattva. So speaks the Tathagata in the Diamond Sutra. This reminds me closely of Suzuki Roshi's teachings in No Trace in Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. And that is that we do not in truth there is no self. In truth there is no other. One of the core teachings of the Buddha way. So we leave no trace of ourself in our dissolving into the Dharma. we are at one with our action, and we are at one with those suffering beings that we help, because in fact their beinghood and ours are one, are empty. So goal-orientated thinking and ego should be absent from authentic practice. And really what Suzuki Roshi is essentially doing in this chapter is he's trying to encourage us to practice in this way. When you practice Zen, you become one with Zen. There is no you and no Zazen. When you bow, there is no Buddha and no you. One complete bowing takes place. That is all. This is Nirvana. So, we leave no trace. The bird that flies through the sky leaves no trace of its passing. The fish that swims through the ocean leaves no trace of it having gone by. And what is transmitted? Well, when Buddha transmitted our practice to Mahakashyapa, he just picked up a flower with a smile. Only Mahakashyapa understood what he meant. No one else understood. He goes on to say, this is Zen practice, not some teaching taught by Buddha or some rules of life set up by him. The teachings or the rules should be changed according to the place or according to the people who observe them. But the secret of this practice cannot be changed. It is always true. So what is the secret of this practice? What is the secret of Zen practice? Well, it is for all to see when Shakyamuni holds up the flower and Mahakashyapa smiles. It is an unsayable secret. It cannot be uttered. It leaves no trace, and in truth, nothing is transmitted. Suzuki Roshi ends his teaching on that particular day with encouragement. So for us, there is no other way to live in this world. I think this is quite true, and this is quite easy to accept, easy to understand, and easy to practice. If you compare the kind of life based on this practice with what is happening in this world or in human society, you will find out just how valuable the truth Buddha left us is. It's quite simple, and practice is quite simple. But even so, we should not ignore it. Its great value must be discovered. Usually when it is so simple, we say, oh, I know that, it's quite simple. Everybody knows that. But if we do not find its value, it means nothing. It is the same as not knowing. The more you understand culture, the more you will understand how true and how necessary this teaching is. And Suzuki Roshi goes on to say, the truth is always near at hand and within your reach. So, we do not cut the vegetables in order to serve the meal later that afternoon. We cut the vegetables only because we cut the vegetables. We lose and burn up completely in our actions. This is not a teaching of multitasking, I should say. This is a teaching of complete absorption in the action at hand. So we just live our lives and do what we have to do and do what we should do, and we do it well. This is Zen practice, on the cushion and off the cushion, leaving no trace. The authentic Bodhisattva path. So, no trace. Next time we'll look at page 65, God-giving. To give is non-attachment. That is, just not to attach to anything is to give. We'll look at Master Suzuki's continuing teachings in the weeks ahead. So, thank you for your attention. If you want to find out more, look at zenbuddhism.ie. So for now, this is Myozan Kodo, and I just offer you a deep bow.